Thing we're going to deal with now is writing the formulas for ternary compounds. So I am kind of separating it out. We still have our little setup here. You're going to notice that the naming is just going to go the same way we've been doing before. Let's go ahead and erase the blue part. Let's go ahead and erase the blue part. And we'll just go with the naming with that first. Again, just build our way up. So we got this here. And we got this one here. Now again, you guys can go ahead and try to listen to somebody else. I usually don't hear anybody with much luck on that. So again, that's kind of your choice. Let's go ahead and we'll start doing what you're going to see as far as when you have to write a formula. And again, this is just kind of a practice thing. It's not awfully hard. It's just getting used to actually having to do it. You might want to just go ahead and kind of do the same procedures as I, kind of practicing it so it doesn't look that difficult. Why don't we go with aluminum, and let's go with this one here, which is called chromate. So again, it's in the red, so that's the reason why you do not have a Roman numeral. We go ahead, and this is what I do as a routine. I write down my symbols. And you just need to remember, if I do not have prefixes, it is automatically charges. I have to look at the charges. So I chose aluminum because we can easily see it's a positive 3 charge. And then on this one, it is a negative 2 charge. Think of this kind of like a boat. That is what formulas are trying to do. So let's say our boat kind of looks like this right now, with my AL here with its positive 3s, and my CrO4 with my negative 2 charges. What I have to do is I have to balance out the boat, but I can't just put 1 over here. I have to do it by switching numbers. So what would happen if I switch my numbers? If I put a 2 here and a 3 here, and these are still here. Now that will balance the boat. That's basically what we're doing. We're balancing the boat. So what we're going to do here is my 2's are going to go underneath my 3. Negatives go under positives. Positives go under negatives. This may not look like it makes sense. You are correct. Because now if I'm dealing with polyatomic ions, in some cases I have to put parentheses. Polyatomic parentheses. I have to put it around whatever is listed here. So I cannot put the 3 inside of it. I cannot drop the 4. Again, this is all luggage. It goes together. Now I balanced out the boat. So the boat's now balanced, which means this is my correct formula. Let me know if that kind of works as far as figuring out how to write a formula. Let's go ahead and do another one. Let's go with this one here, calcium. Don't get distracted, this is still in red. And let's go ahead and go with a different one. Let's go with, let's see, where is sulfite? We would go with sulfite. When you're looking at the wording, you're going to have to make sure that everything matches up. Oops, and I got to do the name. I just automatically go into writing the formula. So let's go calcium. calcium sulfide. No prefixes, right charges. So we got calcium, which again is Ca, and sulfite, which is SO3. Now as you're writing through here, maybe you want to do the charges as you're going. That also works. So if I look at my calcium, it's in the +2. They all have the same properties. And then all I have to do is look at my ion chart. Polyatomic ion chart, that says it's a -2 charge. Now if I'm doing the boat, I have a +2 and a -2. Now it balances it out. So we don't change it out at all. We don't even move the 2's down. That would just kind of mess up the formula. We try to make it as simple as possible. So you're noticing I do not add, subtract, multiply, divide. It's just basically you just follow procedure. Let's go ahead and do one more from here. Let's go lithium. Let's see, lithium acetate. And I'll do one more after it. Well, the symbol for lithium, again, no Roman numerals, so I know it's narrowed down to the red region. My symbol for lithium is Li. We can do the charge. It's a +1. No prefixes, right charges. And then all I have to do is find my acetate. My acetate is C2H3O2 with a -1 charge. So what happens with the +1 -1? It cancels, we balance the boat. This is my formula. We have to get rid of those charges. So it's LiC2H3O2. We do not use parentheses because there's really no purpose in putting parentheses around it. You're just adding work to it. And we want to do less work. Let's go ahead and do one more, because sometimes this one needs a little bit more time as far as learning how to write a formula. Let's go with, let's see, zinc. And we're going to go cyanide. Now sometimes you will start looking through the periodic table and it's kind of like, well, I can't find this one. Next thing you should be looking for is into your polyatomic ion chart. We have Cn. So now we have, or know, where our zinc is, which is a +2 charge based on the diagonal. So I'm just going to go ahead and start writing this with a +2 charge. And then I've got cyanide, which is Cn, with a -1 charge. You have to remember, even if you have just a symbol here, this whole thing here is luggage. If the charges are not balanced, sometimes you're going to have to put the 2 over here to balance the boat. So we're going to balance the boat by putting this here. We're going to leave our parentheses here. And you notice every single time I have a 1, I don't write it down because it's assumed that it's a 1, because I only have 1 zinc. I do have 2 carbons and 2 nitrogens because we have to distribute. That is how we're going to write this. Now, is it going to change dramatically when I go into the middle part? The nice part is no. So we will write our formulas. You can come in. You can come in or come through the door. Okay, so let's say we have something that's in here. When we're dealing with this one, It makes life so much easier. So let's say we go ahead and we do one that's SN, which is 10, Roman numeral 4, and let's go with hydroxide. Again, we're going to go procedure. We're going to write the symbol for tin, which is SN. We can use our charge now, which is a positive 4. You don't really have to look a lot because it's given to you. Go with what's provided. And then we have hydroxide. Now you just have to remember that whole thing is luggage. It all goes together. But we have the charge of hydroxide, which is here, which is a negative 1. How am I going to balance out the boat? Well, in order to balance out the boat, I have to put the 4 over here so the positive's going under the negative. And then I have this here. You notice the 1 doesn't go here because, again, it's assumed that SN's going to be a 1. But in this case, I have 4 oxygens and 4 hydrogens. So I got to make sure that balancing the boat, I got to balance it out with both of them. And just use the parentheses. Let's go ahead and do another one. Let's go copper, Roman numeral 2, and no, yeah, Roman numeral 2, and we'll go phosphide. Now on this one, that one is kind of missing, so that would be PO3, negative 3 for phosphide. And the nice part is that is an indication when you're looking at it that if you see all these charges here, you have to use them. So let's say we got our copper, so that's copper, which is Cu, and again, use what's provided to you. That's a +2. I use phosphide provided for you, PO3, negative 3. So you don't even have to memorize. You can just use the chart. Eventually you will memorize them. Now you're going to notice how am I going to balance out this boat. Well, I got to move the 3 over here and the 2 over here because we're not going to be overly creative. We have to remember that this one goes together like luggage, but we're going to use it with the parentheses. Then we're going to get rid of those because I've balanced the boat. Hopefully this helps you as far as writing formulas. You're going to notice it's kind of like binary compounds. Let me just do a quick illustration of that. Let's say I change this out to an IDE ending, which is phosphorus. Again, that's 2 elements. And then we go phosphide, which is a P, ide, which is a P. Here's my phosphorus, negative 3 charge. Copper is a positive 2 charge. We got to balance the boat. We move the 3 here and the 2 here to balance the boat. Negatives go under positives, positives go under negatives. We no longer have to deal with this, and that is how you're going to write the formula for that. So you should see that there's some similarities to it. The one thing is, if you have something that's polyatomic and you have something like this thing happening, you have to put parentheses around it because, again, polyatomic ions are like luggage. They all go together.